What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the JoeyH podcast. Today we have our sports analysis show. With me, as always, for this show, we have Lucas. How are you today?
What's up, Joe? I'm doing good. How you doing?
I cannot complain. I cannot complain. And I just want to tell everybody before we get started this is the 40th episode of this podcast. It's been a journey. It's been a journey. But through it all, I really appreciate you guys supporting me. So thank you guys so much for the support throughout the years. And I hope you guys continue to support me as the years go on. And I appreciate you guys. First and foremost, the first topic has to be the NFC. I'm sorry, the conference championship week. This past weekend, it was it was New England versus Denver, and then it was Seattle versus LA Rams. So, Lucas, I'm going to let you go first and, talk about how you felt about those games, and we'll turn it over to me.
All right, man. First and foremost, congratulations to both the teams that won this last weekend. New England and Seattle are going to the Super Bowl again, rematch. I want to talk about the AFC Championship, Broncos versus Patriots. I don't know if we really learned anything from that game. It was snowing, it was a hard game to play. Both teams had very little yardage, very little action, very low scoring game. Final score being 10-7. Nobody scored in the fourth quarter. That's hard. Drake May went for 10 and 21 and 86 yards. Stidham went for 17 and 31 for 133 yards with one touchdown and one interception. I think Drake May rushed in a touchdown. I think he got a touchdown. I can't quite remember. But other than that, pretty decent game. Again, it was snowing, so it was just hard to play. But congratulations to New England on getting that win. Looked good. It's crazy. Like last year, if you told me Drake May would be going to the Super Bowl this year, I would have laughed in your face.
Mm-hmm.
Now to the NFC Championship. What a game between LA and Seattle. Final score being 27-31. Close game till the very end. Matthew Stafford, who again I think will get MVP this year, possible MVP, threw for 374 yards, went for 22-35, and got 3 touchdowns. Sam Darnold, another quarterback who, if you told me last year he would be going to the Super Bowl this year, I would have laughed in your face, told you to kick rocks. He threw for 346 yards, went 25 for 36, and also went for 3 touchdowns. A great play game. One player who I really enjoyed watching during that game was Puka Nakua. Sorry, what a performance! I mean, he played a great game. Showed up ready to go. 9 receptions, 1 touchdown. That's really good. Went for 165 yards. I mean, that was a really fun game to watch. Simplified what this playoff run has been for every team. This last this year's playoffs were so good. Every game, maybe besides if you want to argue the AFC Championship a little bit just because of the circumstances for that game, but every single game was so fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited for Super Bowl Sunday. Both teams look good. With that being said, I'll hand it off to you, Joe.
Okay. I thought you were gonna give your predictions there for a second. I was
I'm
gonna have
gonna
to
wait
stop
on.
you. I
I'm
was
gonna.
gonna I was gonna have to stop you. I was gonna be like, whoa, 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 whoa. We gotta save that. We gotta save
Gotta
that
save
for.
that. We have to save that.
So, all right. First and foremost, hats off to Jarrett Stidham. You know, you put up a great fight, and hats off to the whole Broncos for sure. Uh, I listened to Pat Sertan's podcast with uh an 850 native, his co-host, Terrion Arnold, you know, went to St. John Paul the Second in
Yep.
Tallahassee. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Local Catholic high school there.
right, right. So Pat would seem very confident in Stiddy, as they call him, and you know, look, the exact thing happened. Like I said in this last episode, I said, look, I want the Broncos to win, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. And look, I really don't even think the weather was a factor, to be honest with you. I mean, if we're just being 100% transparent here, like both Denver and Foxborough, are snow heavy places in the United States. So you really can't make excuses. I was really excited to see, because we don't often get to see, games played in the snow. And I was excited to see how they were going to measure up. And you know what? Patriots, they stepped up to the plate as they had been doing all game. Will Campbell, who is, the left tackle, I believe, for the Patriots, they drafted him in the first round. Uh, Class of 2022, just like myself, a high school, you know what I mean? Uh, you know, Will Campbell, he kept Nick Benito, you know, he kept him state not stationary, but he was able to slow him down the whole game. And Nick Benito, who's actually an STA alum, and he was actually on Pastor Tan's podcast this past week, you know, Nick was Nick seemed very, both Nick and Pat, they seem very, eager to get this game started. They wanted to see how they could measure up. And you know what? I love that. I love the podcast, Pat Sertan and Terry on Arnold. I love you guys' podcast, but it just wasn't, it just wasn't your guys' day. And also shout out Coach Niedermeyer. Like I said in the last episode, you know, Broncos, they were, I'm sorry, the Patriots, they were just the better team that day, hands down. And you know, Patriots, they just have too many weapons on their offense, and the fact that Patriots were able to maintain control of the game, it really just seemed like the Broncos, like in that fourth quarter, they just laid an egg. They could not get anything going offensively. Nothing. And they had several opportunities to get things going. You know what I mean? And it's not like the Patriots were playing their best game offensively as well. When they had their key moments, they made them count. Broncos in the fourth quarter, they had their key moments. They had to, make sure that they executed, and it just didn't happen. And that's listen, Broncos had a great offense this whole year. But, look, their starting quarterback's out. That's just the harsh reality of it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
That's already a peg down. That's already a step
If
down.
if Bo Nix is in that game, this game is a completely different story.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that's enough on the Broncos. I'm gonna move on to, the next game. Seattle and LA, what a game. Definitely what a game. LA Rams, they exceeded my expectations. I thought Seahawks were going to stomp them, considering the fact that they struggled both on the road to Carolina and Chicago. But when it came down to it, you know, Seattle was just a better team. You watched the final drive, right, Lucas? LA Rams.
Yep.
So a lot of people, there was kind of some controversy, you know. And like, look, I was looking forward. I wanted to see if Matthew Stafford could put up another clutch drive as he's been doing this playoffs. As
Absolutely.
I wanted to see if he could put up a clutch drive because Matthew Stafford throughout his career has had several clutch moments. Unfortunately, it just was not meant to be because as he's throwing the ball to the player you mentioned, Puka Nakua, he's this close to getting out of bounds. And Puka's expecting, you know, he's, to for them to stop the clock, but ref did the keep the game clock running. And unfortunately, by that time, there was only a few seconds left in the game. They couldn't get the offensive play set. So, game's
It's
over. But LA Rams, hats off to you guys for sure. Uh, you know, because you guys definitely exceeded my expectations. But not to take anything away from Seattle because they've been balling. Now, Lucas, you did mention like if Sam Darnold was in the Super Bowl, you would laugh. Now, look, judging based off the year he had last year with the Vikings, I would have to disagree. I remember I got the news this past offseason when he signed with the Seahawks, and then the Seahawks got Cooper Cup, and I was like, you know, I mean, I didn't think they were going to outright win the Super Bowl or get to the Super Bowl, but I thought they had a pretty good chance. And now here they are, especially now they got, you know, someone who I've been following since he was in college, Jackson Smith and Jigba. You know what I mean? I'm a big fan of him, and now they're in the Super Bowl, and it's going to be a rematch of 11 years ago. Malcolm Butler getting that interception right at the goal line, and the Patriots winning that Super Bowl off of one of the worst play calls I think I'd ever seen. So, but we're gonna move on.
run the ball, but that was 11 years ago. That was the past.
We're gonna move on to the next topic. UFC 324. Uh, this past weekend. First in the co-main event was Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong or
Song
what?
Yudong, yes, Song
Yeah,
Yudong.
Song Yadong. Uh, I'll start off with this topic. Sean O'Malley, great performance. You know, gritty fight, but ultimately he got it done. And do you think this qualifies as a title shot, Lucas, at the bantamweight division for
With
O'Malley?
Sean O'Malley.
Yeah.
I love the guy. I love the guy. You were correct. This was a great performance. This was a much, much, much needed win. But unfortunately, I do not believe this was a title fight. Uh, title,
Title shot.
title shot fight. Yes, thank you.
Okay, fair enough. They got
If it was a knockout or a finish of some sort, I would absolutely, totally say yes. This is a title shot fight. But given the fact that it went the distance, and kind of given the fact that like he started a little slow and he definitely played it safe a lot more. We saw he played it a lot more safe than usual, but still he put on a great performance. I think that is the Sean O'Malley we need to see, that we should see. That's the standard that Sean O'Malley needs to set for himself is get wins when you need to win.
all right. Yeah, I like that. And then the main event was Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gagey. Now, I got to be honest. I was rooting for Paddy. When Paddy got dropped within the first couple minutes,
Dude.
I thought, oh no, this is it. But what does Paddy say? He is a Scouser.
And Scousers don't get knocked out.
He does not get knocked out. And he went the whole 5 rounds. That right there, that fight was probably one of the greatest fights I have seen in recent years. I mean, just based off the fact that not only was Patty dropped in the first round, he managed to, in my book, win the 3rd and 5th round of
Yes.
that fight.
I totally agree. I totally agree with you.
You know, and when I see that, I'm like, oh my god, like this guy, he's gonna be something special. I think Patty should fight Armin next.
Oh, that would be such a good fight. That would be such a good fight.
And there's hella beef between them too. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, but we'll save that for later. And obviously, Justin Gaethje now, he is going to be fighting Ilia Topuria for the lightweight belt. But Lucas, again, we'll save that for later. Lucas, I'll hand it off to you.
I'll bounce back on the Justin Gaethje fight. You are so correct when you say this is one of the best fights we've seen in recent years. What a battle! What a battle between two great fighters. Justin Gaethje is definitely at the later stages of his career. He's gotten older, definitely a little slower, definitely not as violent. But man, that guy could still fight, dude. He's still such a good fighter. Got the interim lightweight belt, so we'll see where that takes him. We'll see what he does against Ilia Topuria in the lightweight title fight whenever that happens. Hopefully sometime this year, maybe early next year. I really don't want to wait a year to see that fight. Justin Gaethje's not getting any younger.
Mm-hmm.
To talk about the fight, when I saw Paddy Pimblett, I was also rooting for Paddy Pimblett.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see him win. I want to see Ilia Topuria versus Paddy Pimblett. That fight to me sounds so good. When I saw him get dropped in the first couple minutes, I thought it was over. But for him to keep going, you got to think any other person, any other man. So
there's not many fighters out there that could last that long after getting knocked
let
out.
alone the rest of the round. He went another 4 rounds and continued to get dropped. He got dropped, I think, again in the second and again in the fourth. Or no, that was an eye poke. I'm thinking of the eye poke.
Yeah, a lot of fouls in this fight.
A lot of fouls. It was just a rough fight. That's okay. I mean, they both got fouled.
Mistakes, I think they're even. They were even. You know?
Mistakes happen. It happens. I think, it was 2 eye pokes and 2 below the belt kicks or knees or whatever. I mean, Paddy Pimblett, he is something special. He doesn't get knocked out. I mean, we've seen Justin Gaethje knock out almost everybody. He even knocked out Dustin Poirier.
Yeah.
Which not a lot of people could say that they've done either. We've seen him. I mean, I could go down the list, but again, great fight. You'll see how the potential title fight between Justin Gaethje and Ilia Topuria goes. I'm excited for that news to start picking up and that fight starting to get rolling. So we shall see. Other than that, great weekend for the UFC. First Paramount event of the UFC wasn't too bad.
Oh yeah, especially I don't gotta pay freaking $80. So much better, dude. So much better. And
I'll take a couple lags every now and then for the subscription.
Yeah, apparently there were a lot of problems with in this broadcast in specific, the first one. There were a lot of problems with, a lot of fans had concerns with the ads, and I think they were even putting ads in the walkouts. Some of the walkouts, but look, Dana put it pretty, pretty bluntly in the press conference. Said, look, you're paying $8.99 a month. These guys got to make money. You know what I mean? And so since there's a huge, I might add, a huge price drop off, something's got to give. You know what I mean? So, and unfortunately, that's that's the part that gives. We get a crap load of ads. Not complaining. I'd much rather have that than have to pay 80 freaking dollars.
A
You know what I mean?
month. Like,
And
wait.
I'm sorry.
I was agreeing with you. Like $80 a month for something, and it's earlier now. It starts an hour earlier, which is
9
great.
p.m.
Blessed be.
So much better. So much better, bro.
I
Oh,
mean, still staying up at till like 1 in the morning, but like
yeah.
it definitely is a lot better.
Fam, it was over by like midnight and I was like fast asleep.
Yeah.
I'm not used to that at all watching UFC, but
No. Rarely do we see like early broadcasts of the UFC. We usually have to wait till they go overseas or something.
yeah, to like Saudi or Abu Dhabi. I love it when they go to Saudi
I
and Abu
love
Dhabi
it, dude. I love
because
it.
it starts at like lunchtime here, and it's like dude, we order some wings, some pizza, like,
Go to
and
lunch.
yeah, we're just chilling, bro,
Yeah.
chilling, and we could do other stuff when
The
it's
rest of the
over.
day. The rest
Yeah, so, and I actually have friends. I have a friend that lives in Australia, and he told me UFC like at Sunday they come on at like lunchtime there. So, and that's the way it's always been. So,
Yeah.
which is pretty fire. UFC 325 in Sydney, Australia. That's gonna be an absolute amazing card in the co-main event. In the co-main event, we have oh, I had it and I lost it. It was like right on the tip of my tongue.
Dan Hooker and Benoit Saint Denis.
Yes, we have in the co-main event we got Dan the Hangman Hooker versus Bueno Saint Denis. I took French in high school, and if I'm butchering your name, Saint Denis, I apologize. But
BSD, just BSD.
BSD, my guy BSD, man. My guy BSD. No, he's not my guy. I'm not really a fan. I'm a fan of the Hangman, you know what I mean? Look,
Exactly.
so Lucas, I'll let you start off on this one.
Co-main event, like you said, lightweight bout. Pretty sure it's just 3 rounds. That's totally okay. That fight is going to be great. That's going to be exciting. You can never have a boring Dan Hooker fight. Pretty sure BSD is pretty good, so we'll see how that goes. I'm not really too familiar with how he fights. I haven't really seen his fights. I think this is his first co-main event, if I'm not mistaken.
I know he fought Dustin Poirier and he lost, but
Yes, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, way back, way back.
yeah.
But yes, I'm excited to see that fight. I'm excited to see Dan Hooker. I'm a huge Dan Hooker fan, and it's in Australia. You know he's going to put on a show. You know all his fans are going to be there. It's just going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time.
All right. And the main event
Ooh.
is Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez rematch. As some of you may remember, Volkanovski, he was able to win the first one. Now it's in his backyard. Lucas, who you got?
Oh, dude, it's hard to bet against Alexander Volkanovski. Yes, it's a rematch. Diego Lopez is younger. He actually looked really good in their first fight too. He did. I mean, Alexander Volkanovski, it's hard to bet against him, even at this age he's at, uh, in this stage of his career he's in. I wouldn't be surprised if he's got like 2 more fights in him, but I do believe he's the most dominant featherweight champion in the UFC that we've seen in a long time, if not ever. 2-time featherweight champ. I'm going with Volkanovski, the man down under.
Yes. And I will also go for Volkanovski as well. Volk, uh, I have to say this. He is forget Jose Aldo, as much as respect I have for him. Volkanovski is the featherweight GOAT. And I really don't think you can dispute that, honestly.
Me
You
neither.
know, he he is absolutely dominant, and I think that I watch his cooking with Volk on Instagram. Yeah, really cool guy all around. But you
He's
know,
funny. He's funny as all get out, dude.
yeah, and I'm gonna say it. I think Volk knows Diego Lopez well. I think he's gonna go for the finish on this one.
Me too.
I don't think this reaches a decision. So
You're correct. You're correct. I don't see it going past the fourth.
okay,
Alexander's fast. He's dominant. When he wants to finish, he'll go after it, no matter what.
that's fair. I like that. I like that one. So I'm gonna go with Volk, and all right, locked in the predictions. So we're good to go. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning into this podcast.
That
Again,
also that fight will be this Saturday, January 31st. I'm pretty sure.
yeah.
Yeah, this Saturday. So that's pretty close. That's exciting. That's exciting.
Oh yeah. Back to back
Back to
UFC.
back UFC fights, dude. That's awesome.
Back to back UFC Paramount events. That's gonna be something. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in this podcast. Thank you again for all the support. My 40th podcast.
Yes, bro.
And
Congratulations. Congratulations, Joe, on the 40th podcast. Thank you so much for having me as a returning guest. Love talking sports. Love talking with you. Always.
yeah, and I want to thank you, man, for taking the time out of your day for doing this, dude. It really means a lot to me. And, you're helping grow my channel. I'll forever remember that for sure. So, again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And thank you guys for all the support. Over 40 episodes of this podcast. Don't forget, thank you, Lucas. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And have a great day, everyone. Peace.
Peace.